Hello, Namaskar. We're in week 3 in episode 12 of the Coronavirus Daily, and I am Ajay Poonia. How are you feeling? Excited that the lockdown will end on Monday and you can be a free bird? Or have you been reading the news and have resigned to the fact that the lockdown will continue in some form or the other? But while the powers that be do what they do, how are you counting down the days? Are you binge watching web series or binge reading books or plain simple, old fashioned binging on food? No judgment at all about either of those, but are you just trying to keep busy or are you being productive? Or are you taking a step back and thinking about how am I going to get better? How am I going to bring more peace and calm in my life? Because if we constantly keep ourselves busy, are we really trying to become better in something? Or are we just avoiding boredom? But why do we need to avoid boredom? What exactly is wrong with boredom? We've been told right from when we were young that boredom is something wrong. But let's think about that. What about this moment is boring? Can we find some richness, some beauty in this boredom? To tell you the truth, most of our best ideas come out of boredom. This is why while driving you get your best ideas. This is why while taking a shower do you get your moments of inspiration. But not so much while sitting on the pot, because that dreaded smartphone is there with you for company. And perhaps you're listening to me from there. Hi, how's it going back there? The date today is 8th April. Where does it even matter day? First, the uncertain. So the government has begun talking about how to reopen the country. Reports say that the states want a longer lockdown because it's easier to manage people when there is fear of law or retaliation. But a question that people should really be thinking is, how will we know if it's a good time to go out? Or let your kids go to the school. Whose word to believe? Clearly, nobody wants to or should want to venture outside with the fear of contracting this super sneaky, highly contagious virus. Waiting for the vaccine would be ideal, but of course, as vaccine is months away or maybe more than a year away, that will be too long of a wait. So let me list some good indicators that you can make up your mind if some of them or all of them should be struck off the checklist before you cross the Lakshman Rekha. Number 1. When hospitals exit crisis mode. Number 2, testing is widespread. 3, states are able to monitor confirmed cases. And the most important one, there are significantly reduced cases for at least 14 days. Now, all of these don't have absolute numbers attached to them. Hospital out of crisis, how many health professionals per capita? How many ventilators per capita? Widespread testing, how much? We're at about 10-12,000 a day. What number qualifies as widespread? 1 lakh a day? Or looking at our population, 2 lakhs a day? Reduced cases for 14 days? How reduced? Low tens, low hundreds, and finally, monitoring confirmed cases, ensuring there is no scope for evasion because one infectious individual can start the wave all over again. We have given up our privacy for a few likes. I guess we can give it up to save our lives. And now for the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good. Today's good news comes from the land of the nicest guys in cricket, New Zealand. New Zealand isn't just winning the coronavirus war, it is annihilating it, grabbing it by the scruff of the neck. New Zealand saw its first COVID-19 positive case on February 28. And 35 days later, they've had a little over 1,200 cases and all of one death. That's it. 1. More people are now recovering than contracting the virus. So what did they do? They acted early and they acted decisively. Soon after the first case, they put all incoming traffic on 2-week quarantine. On March 19, they shut the borders, and finally, on March 23, put out a strong stay-home message shutting schools and non-essentials. That makes New Zealand join the envious club of Taiwan, Norway, and Germany, who've all controlled mortality significantly. Guess what's common to the leadership in these countries? You can answer in the comments below. More good news. With so many people staying home, amongst the many industries that have taken a hit is the crime industry. With everyone at home, burglars are having a tough time finding empty ones to break in. Delhi reported 44% decrease from last year. San Francisco reported 30% fewer cases. And in South Africa, police issued a statement announcing a decrease in serious and violent crimes, including murder and rapes by 70%. However, museums are hoping thieves follow the stay-home orders because reports say in a museum in Netherlands, an early Van Gogh painting was stolen. And in an Oxford University gallery also, a couple of 16th century paintings were stolen. I think Inspector Clouseau should report to a service Manastambaga. Bill Gates is setting up factories to manufacture 7 leading vaccine candidates even before we know which one is the best and the safest. We can test the vaccines in parallel and then keep aside all but the factory for the best vaccine. It may save many months and hundreds of billions. The reason for hedging the bets, he says, is because we're fighting against time. We can't say, okay, which vaccine works, and then let's just set up a factory. It may waste a few $billion, but with each passing day, the global economy staying shut translates to hundreds of billions of dollars of loss. Well, of course, who are we to argue against his thoughts? He built Windows and MS-DOS. Clearly, this man's got decades of experience with viruses. The bad. There's a fair bit of uncertainty about how many people were exposed to COVID-19 and have developed immunity. The only way to find that out is when we do widespread serological testing to see who has antibodies. Till then, we won't be sure. Some models put the percentage in single digits, and these numbers fall way short of the herd immunity, which would require between 50%, that's R naught of 2, and 70%, R naught of 3, of the population recovered to prevent any epidemic spread. Also, coming back to serology, serology tells you your current state and not what may happen. What I mean to say is, it reveals where infection has spread, but doesn't tell you about where it is spreading. Serology does have value though, for example, in public health decisions, or don't hate me for saying this, identifying who can go to work. But it shouldn't be used to try and diagnose active infections. It should only be used to understand what has already happened and perhaps base an understanding on that. And now the ugly. China versus Australian media. The Chinese Consulate General in Sydney sent a letter to the Daily Telegraph expressing displeasure at its coverage of China's role in the pandemic. And the newspaper responded not so gracefully. I'll give you the link below, but let me build it up for you with some sample exchanges in this point-by-point, pro-level trolling come vicious dogfight. When the consulate said the origin of the virus is still undetermined and the WHO has named the novel coronavirus as COVID-19, to which the Daily Telegraph replied, the World Health Organization also appointed Zimbabwean murderer Robert Mugabe as its goodwill ambassador. They do a lot of stupid stuff. That's what they said. No mincing words. And clearly, I can't argue with that. Further, so the consulate said, your recent coverage on the epidemic in China are exaggerated, full of irresponsible rumors and highly politicized. To which the very cute Daily Telegraph said, ooh, naughty us. It's about the size of the fight in the dog. Before I go, the funnies. This is very interesting. Wuhan hosted the Military World Games in October. But according to one theory in circulation, it was the US servicemen that went as participants who carried the virus with them. In fact, while the rest of the world argues that China unleashed this virus to the world, the Communist Party of China, on the other hand, has promoted it so aggressively that the Chinese populace believes it was indeed the American military importing the coronavirus outbreak to Wuhan. The CCP has aggressively used all possible media to make believe their side of the story in this information war, which they call it the USA virus. So, goodbye, wash your hands, and see you later.